Welcome back. It is Friday, April 7th in the MLB. Our four favorite picks are on the way. I'm Austin, joined by Logan. Let's recap yesterday, though. It was a solid 2 in 1 day. We'll take it. The Braves' first five, no sweat. You didn't have to worry about that one, Logan. Great call. That was sweaty, but Blake Snell came through as you promised. Mr. Chapman easily gets his 2 bases in the first inning, and then our no-run first inning lost. Felt like a good play, but just Lance Lynn hung a meatball right in the center of the plate, sent to the bleachers. The other outs were pretty easy, but either way, the Nerfies are bouncing back today. The parlay of the day did not hit, but we will have another parlay of the day. Top link in the description, and we do have a sign-up offer on BetMGM. You get $1,000 paid back to you in bonus bets if your first bet loses. All you got to do is sign up with our link at the top of the description, deposit, and make your first bet. And if it loses, you'll get back bonus bets up to $1,000. Take advantage. All the details down below in the description. We got 4 plays today, Logan. What's your first one of the day?
Yeah, I'm going to a money line in mine, and I'm going to the Mariners versus Guardians game, and I'm taking the Mariners on the money line. I love the value on this one, plus 110 odds on Caesars. You got two, starting pitchers that have already faced each other's, and the Mariners are coming off a series loss where they lost 3 out of 4 games to Cleveland and Seattle. I expect some revenge on their mind today. Look, last time these two pitchers faced each other, Seattle lost 2-0. So I expect a bounce back performance for this Mariners team, and they're facing Aaron Civale again, right? He pitched a great game in his first start versus Seattle, almost way too good, right? 7 innings pitched, 0 earned runs, .43 whip, and 3 strikeouts. To go 7 innings and only get 3 Ks is kind of funny, but that's just the Civale we know. And now he's still liable for home runs, and I think that's how he's going to be attacked today. I think the Mariners will be sitting on his pitches, waiting for mislocations and put the ball in the bleachers. 8 home runs allowed in 9 home games last year. That ballpark can be a launch pad for home runs. I've seen it, a million times, and I think they can hit some against Civale today. And if you look at these hitters against Civale, Teoscar Hernandez, Kelenic, France, and Colton Wong have all homered already versus Civale. So they've seen him before, and they've homered against him. I'm not asking for home runs only today. I'll settle for some extra base hits, but I'm very comfortable with this Mariners offense being able to hit Civale and make mistakes like he didn't make in the first time outing. Now, who's starting for Seattle? Logan Gilbert, right? He starts for the Mariners today. He's a pitcher that I backed several times last year, and he did pay it off. He's a really good starting pitcher. He went 6 innings, 1 earned run, .83 whip. And what was encouraging was 7 strikeouts versus Cleveland, right? Cleveland, we know, is typically one of those put the ball in place teams, not high strikeouts. Well, Logan Gilbert was getting the swings and misses. So if he can get those swings and misses this time around, I think he'll actually get run support, unlike last time. Seattle, also, last point of note, 8th in bullpen ERA. Cleveland, 13th in bullpen ERA. There's a slight edge to Seattle there on paper, but when it comes down to a close game, I just like this Mariners bullpen a lot more, and I think they're going to be able to hold whatever lead they're able to give Logan Gilbert. I think the bullpen will be able to hold in this one, so that's why I'm going Mariners money line. And last, I do want to mention a strong lean. I almost went Twins money line as my pick. I just like the Mariners money line a lot more with the plus 110 value. So that's why we're going with that one today. But Austin, what do you got for us?
Yeah, Logan, I really like the Mariners pick. It's important, I think that line changes a lot. We saw FanDuel at like minus 102 for the Mariners. So you're getting plus 110 on Caesars. Great value there. Now, I got 2 player props for the people. I'm going to start with the guy probably on the thumbnail, guy you've probably heard of. It's Mike Trout. And I like his over 1.5 bases, currently plus 110 on DraftKings. Now, I'm going to say this probably 150 times this season. FanDuel is terrible for base props. It's just the nature of it. They have this at minus 120. I really don't like taking minus 120 type, base props, because there's a lot of different things that could happen. Trout could get walked 6 times today, and those don't count as bases. But I also like other books, because other books are going to avoid it if for some reason Mike Trout does not start and they maybe pinch hit him, whereas FanDuel's going to grade it as a loss. It's like taking a player's over 25.5 points in the NBA. They get benched for the first 3 quarters, and you chuck them in the 4th quarter. Most books would grade that as a void. FanDuel's like, no, he played. We'll count it. So I really like to go to other books, and this one we're going to be on DraftKings. Now let's talk about Trout, who's batting .368 on the year. And as I mentioned, he gets a lot of walks. He's averaging his on-base percentage sitting at .571. I mean, the guy gets on base a ton. So the concern here could be that he gets walked a lot, but I don't really think Chris Bassett, who's going to start for the Toronto Blue Jays here, is a big walk guy. He averaged just a 6.6 walk percentage last year. 8.4% was the league average. In his first start, he didn't pitch well by any stretch of the imagination, but he walked 0 batters. So I really don't think he wants to walk Trout, put more base runners on for Ohtani, who's probably going to be batting right behind him. So we've seen Trout this season been hit or miss in terms of getting 2+ bases, largely because of the walks. But in his last 5 games, we've seen him have 2, 7, 1, 1, and 1 bases. So had a hit in 5 straight games. He's just failed to go over in 3 of them due to getting a lot of walks recently. But I like how he's done against Trout or against Bassitt in his career. He has 19 plate appearances. He's hitting 412 against him, 7 of those being hits, 3 extra base hits, I believe 2 doubles and a home run. He only had 2 walks in those 19 plate appearances. So we look at the pitches Bassitt's going to throw towards him. It's going to be a sinker, changeup, and cutter. That's about 72-ish% of the pitches that Bassitt throws. Well, Trout, those are his top 3 pitches to hit. He has had a 300 or better batting average versus those pitches last season. So we look at the game with an over-under at 9.5. They're clearly expecting some runs. I just don't see the Angels putting up runs unless Trout is at least delivering. And as long as we can avoid him getting walked time and time again, I like him to deliver. Potentially maybe even gets a home run today, but I like him to at least get 1 hit, maybe 2 hits, maybe a double, maybe a triple. Trout's one of the best hitters in the game. We'll ride with him over 1.5 bases at plus 110. I'll take a stab at that. Hopefully he can be like Matt Chapman yesterday, who got us 2 bases in the first inning. That's what we like to see. Now, my second play might be a homer play, but he is the second coming of Mike Trout. So it is Ryan Mountcastle, and I like his over 1.5 hits, runs, RBIs, plus 115 on DraftKings. You'll see in the notes that I do abbreviate this to HRRs. This is a DraftKings specific bet. We love Ryan Mountcastle. He's a friend of the program, and I think he's going to step up today as they take on the New York Yankees at home. I believe this is the Baltimore Orioles home opener. Was supposed to be, I believe, yesterday, but that was postponed due to rain. And like I said, I don't love this. The reason I gave out 2 picks because this is only a DraftKings specific one. DraftKings has, I don't know if this market was available prior to this season, but I think I like this Mountcastle. I like this spot for Mountcastle to step up and drive in some runs, hit people around, score runs, do all of it. Now, Mountcastle, he's been batting in the 3 or 4 spot for the Orioles. That's great because you got guys in front of him. Cedric Mullins, he's annoying. He always gets on base, likes to steal, put himself in a scoring position. You got Adley Rutschman, another guy that's great at drawing walks, getting on base. And then if they maybe move into the 4 slot, you got Anthony Santander there. So he's got 3 guys that are capable of getting on base. And I think there's so many different ways for Mountcastle to hit this prop. Now, this season, we've seen Mountcastle, and if you maybe don't have a DraftKings, I would lean towards maybe Mountcastle get a hit. Also think you get an RBI or even a run. So there's a bunch of different ways you can go for it. If you're on like a Prize Picks or an Underdog Fantasy, I don't mind his fantasy score, but there's obviously he could hit this over, but not hit the fantasy score over. So obviously play with a little bit of caution there. But let's talk about Mountcastle this season. In terms of hits, runs, and RBIs, he's had 2, 6, 1, 0, 6, and 2. So he's over in 2 straight, over in 4 of 6. I like what he's been doing, and he's batting 269 on the season. Now, the reason Logan and I love Mountcastle, we obviously went to his high school. We know him personally, but he doesn't strike out. No, he doesn't walk really too often. He's going to strike out sometimes, but he's not a big walk guy. He's normally swinging and trying to get on base, which is cool. I'd rather a guy, technically we're betting on Mountcastle to get some runs here. So maybe if he gets on base via the walk, we have a chance there. But like Mountcastle loves to swing, and he's going to be swinging early and often against Clark Schmidt, who I really don't see as a big strikeout guy. His line's sitting at 4.5. So look at the over-under for this game, sitting at 8.5 to 9. The Yankees barely like minus 130 on the money line. The Orioles are a plus 110 home dog. And I just don't see how the Orioles can keep this game close without, their cleanup spot guy showing up. Mountcastle's either batting in the 3 or 4 spot. He's 1 for 4 lifetime versus Clark Schmidt. I just see a ton of different ways where this could hit. We could see Mountcastle get 2 hits. That's reasonable. We could see him get a hit that leads to Cedric Mullins coming around. Maybe Mountcastle gets a double and someone hits him in behind him. I think there's so many different ways. Maybe he gets a sac fly. There's so many different ways that I think Ryan could get this done. So I'll take his over 1.5 hits plus runs plus RBIs. It's under batter props, under DraftKings. I really like it. Minus 115 I think is pretty decent odds. I probably wouldn't play that past like minus 125. But either way, those are my 2 favorite player props of the day. Logan, you know what time it is? Before we start the music, though, we have to have a funeral. We're both in black. We're dressed for a funeral. The Nerfies, we tried to carry over the flag from last year, and it just hasn't worked. So the flags are coming off. We're going to now people are like, no, not the flags. Don't you worry. We got something better for you. We got a brand new flag. Yeah, we got a new one, and this one is bringing all the good vibes. I can just feel it. Kick the music off. No one for Stain Nation. We're starting this, baby. We're going back to a scene of the crime, a team that's been hurting us recently. It's the Royals and Giants. We're going to the no run first inning there, minus 113 on FanDuel. Now, we have taken back-to-back Giants, no run first innings, and we have lost. So one could say we are due here. But let's talk about this matchup. I'd probably play this. I think DraftKings were like minus 135. That's a little steep for this one, but we have to kind of caution. Look, no run first inning bets are completely fluky. They're a very luck-based bet. Now, last year we were dominating them. We were plus 25 units, and maybe the flag just couldn't keep up that momentum this season, but they're a luck-based bet with all the different changes to kind of benefit the offense. It's kind of hard to cash the no run first innings, but we're Nerfy Nation. We're not just gonna fall over and just quit. No, we're going to keep going, and we're going to start with Alex Cobb, who's on the mound for the San Francisco Giants, and we need him to get us 3 outs. Now, this will start at 4:35. I'll probably have another live stream Eastern time, so we'll probably have a live stream for this one. But look at Cobb. 0-1 this season on no one first innings. He had to face the Yankees. I think Judge doubled, or he at least got sack flied in, and that's how he gave up a run. I just don't trust this Royals offense, who's been really struggling, hasn't scored in 3 straight first innings. I trust Cobb to get it done in the top half of the inning. We've been losing, Logan. Who's gonna take us?
Brad Keller. We need our last 3 outs, right? And you know what? There's no bigger pain than a 2 out and then your yes run first inning. But I think Brad Keller is a really solid option here. Look, he's 1-0 on no run first inning, so this isn't his first start of the year. He did get out of the first inning alive, which is what we need. And look, as you mentioned, we're gonna have a lot of people in the comments. I'm already predicting it. Get out your keyboards. Not another Giants nerfy. Well, whatever. Look, the Giants just scored a first inning, in the first inning yesterday. It was a painful, meatball by Lance Lynn. 16 total runs they scored yesterday. Now, if this doesn't scream regression, I don't know what does, right? In baseball, you have to remember, each of these games is in a vacuum, right? Yes, they can carry some momentum over from the previous game, but it typically doesn't work like that. It typically ebbs and flows, and it's high scoring, low scoring, high scoring. It happens all the time. The over-under between these 2 pitchers set to 8, right in the comfortable range. We do like to pick these no-run first innings. We're going to dial back in today in Austin. We're going to fly these flags.
Flying these dang flags. -113 value on FanDuel. You can take the tie if you want to. We need 6 outs, and we need them in the worst ways. Those are our 4 favorite plays of the day. Riding with the Royals Giants, no run first inning. Mountcastle's over in hits, runs, RBIs. Trout's over in bases. And Logan's pick, Mariners money line. Let's have a great day. Let's go 4-0. We'll be back again tomorrow for some more picks. Have a great day. Have a great Friday evening. I'll see you guys live on that live stream at 4:30 AM or PM Eastern time. See you guys then. Peace out.